guys, my name is Chantel Bueno. Thank you so much for being here today for this video. I really appreciate it. Now I know what's going on in the world. It can be very scary, and sometimes it feels like, what is the purpose of even trying, or even trying to make a change in your life? Maybe even feeling hopeless at times. But that's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they want. I still have a lot of work to do with myself, but I've learned over time, especially this past year, having lost my mom, how to be more compassionate with myself and more patient with myself. I'm in no way perfect. I'm not a millionaire, obviously. I'm not a lot of things, but I am many things. Know that I see a vision of where I want my life to go and where I know my life will go. But you know, that isn't to say that things won't happen in this life. A lot of things happen. Obviously, there's been many things that happened in my lifetime, in everybody's life, that have, it's felt like have been a surprise to all of us. But that doesn't mean that we should stop trying, that we should stop trying to bring some sort of change to our own reality. I come from a low-income family. All of those statistics you can say I check off. I come from a mother that was a single mother. We were 5 kids in the house, and I started working at a very early age and helping out in the house. I have no idea how my mom did it, how she managed to raise all of us, how she managed to keep up with all of us. I have no idea, but she did. It's very easy to blame our parents and to blame them for not showing us certain things, especially in the finance aspect. They were only learning from what they learned from their parents and their parents and their parents. So we could blame them, but it's just not good to blame them, because they really were just going off of what they were taught and what they learned and what they could handle. I believe that everybody in this world has a responsibility over their life. The system was never broken. It was made for many of us to fail. In a capitalistic society, obviously. But when you take a look at the greater scheme of things, we weren't just created to clock into work and to make money and, you know, to make ends meet. We weren't built for that. We were built to create the reality that we all want. You know, just because you have a job that you don't like, it's not what you see yourself doing for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean that it has to end there. While you are working and clocking into that job, you could also find little time. If that's all you have, that's totally okay. You could have a little time to work on your passions and to work on things that matter to you. I know it's easier to blame the higher ups and, you know, people in charge of this country. And honestly, they do have a lot of the blame of how our country is going. But we also need to take a step back and look at ways that we can transform our own lives. I think right now is an opportunity for many of us to let the world open up for us and to focus and hone in to what we are meant to do in this lifetime. If you don't know what you're meant to do, this is your sign to figure out what you feel like you're meant to do and start. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like something so extravagant. It just needs to be something that you know will bring you in your soul so much fulfillment. Instead of wasting your money and time on people that you know are not good for you, just distract you from what you need to be doing in your life. Instead of doing all that and taking that out of your life and focusing all of the attention on you, is when you take the first step of becoming and changing who you are, while accepting where you are in this moment. That doesn't mean hating who you are in this moment. Although sometimes you need that push, you need that sternness with yourself. It's accepting, look, I am here. It's not the best, it's not the prettiest, but I accept it. I'm here. I'm not gonna run away from it. I'm not gonna go numb myself. I'm not gonna go blame everybody else for where I'm at in life right now. Many of us don't get a silver spoon handed to us. We don't have strong support systems behind us, you know. Some of us have to throw ourselves out there and try and make something out of our lives by ourselves. Sometimes you may want to like be envious and jealous of those people that do have maybe parents to fall back on or people to fall back on, but staying in that energy only holds you back even more from you refocusing on what you're supposed to do. And it's better to be happy for those people and then focus the attention back on you. Having a great support system and parents that can, you know, maybe financially help you and all that, it's a blessing. And unfortunately, we all don't have that. And it's okay. Because if not, you're gonna look down the line and you're gonna see that you didn't really get anywhere because you're always stuck in that same energy of lack and of blame. And it's okay to sometimes feel so low and just like unable to really, but know that it doesn't stop there. You have to be able to take the first step in order to change your present reality. If you keep repeating the same things, you're gonna get the same outcome. You're gonna get the same present reality that you have right now. You know, if you know you don't have enough money, but you wanna go out every weekend, maybe that's not the smartest thing to do. Not judging anyone that loves to go out. I love being around people. I love meeting new people. I love going out. I love dancing. But I know that I have a greater goal in mind, and maybe I can't always do that. Maybe if you want a $500 purse, but you know your bank account isn't looking too good, maybe it's not the right financial, that wouldn't be a great financial decision to make because you still have your bills to pay. Maybe a smarter decision would be saving up for that and then as a reward getting that. And I know it might be like better to blame other people for the way they've treated you. Obviously, like, they may be at fault for what they did, but also choosing to stay in those environments that you know you were hurt in is also you continuing the same loop. It's like chasing a snake that bit you and asking the snake why it bit you instead of going and searching how to heal that wound of where the snake bit you. You're running a loop and you don't even know. And you know deep down that you need to break that pattern, but you still continue it because it still feels comfortable to you. Many of us don't like to admit that, including myself. Many of the habits that we create are due to trying to run away from our present reality. But the thing is, the more you run away, the more you go backwards. Because like I've said in the past, time never stops moving, even though it's not real. But that's a different story. You either erode or you triumph. You become better. You learn how to adapt and move past all of those struggles that you've had. But if you continue going down the same road, same paths that never were good for you, or going back to the same place that you know is not good for you, you will continue going down a slope. And one day you'll crash, but you will be older. And you'll wonder and you'll ask yourself, why didn't I just make a different choice? Why didn't I just make a different decision? Why didn't I just listen to that voice inside me that was screaming at me to get out of there or make a different decision? Instead of holding on to these things that aren't good for us, we can do things to prevent us from going down that road. Everything is everything. Every choice you make causes a ripple effect, and it affects everything else. And it may seem small, but it's not small in the long run. Just sometimes you can't just quit everything cold turkey. Sometimes you need to do baby steps. baby steps. That's one that's one of my favorite songs, I'm not gonna lie. But for real though, that it's true. You have to take baby steps. You can't be so hard on yourself because you don't have everything figured out and you keep comparing yourself to the next person. You know, the next person might have a house, may have like a whole family, and you're still here trying to figure it out. That is okay. It is okay. You are not behind in your own life. You cannot be behind in your own life. But know that when you continue going down that same road, you will crash. Especially ladies. I'm speaking to all of my women right now. Never depend on a man for anything. Especially, always have your own things first. And if you don't, work on it. Work on getting your own. Work on it and you will attract what you need. But for now, work on getting your own. Don't be dependent. Don't be someone that chases. Don't be all of those things. Focus on you. You will realize that when you focus on yourself, a lot of doors will open up to you. But you gotta focus on yourself and you gotta be able to put yourself out there and have that confidence in yourself. Even if, you know, you may not be exactly where you want to be. You know, maybe you don't have the nicest car right now. At least you have a car though. Maybe you don't have the nicest apartment. At least you have an apartment. I bet most of the people overseas that have seen war in their lifetime, I bet they just want shelter. They just want food on the table. They want the basic necessities. But many of us can't see that for ourselves because we're blinded by everything that we see on social media. Oh look, you need this new thing. Oh look, you need this other thing. But the thing is, you don't need it. You don't need it. And if that's something you like, that's fine, that's okay. But sometimes you gotta kind of pull back. Just watched this video on this multimillionaire girl. She got rich when she was 18 years old, and she just released a video after not being online for 5 months that she sold everything, like her house, her cars. In that video she was stating, I lived this luxurious life until finally I realized that all these materialistic things I never needed. All I wanted in reality was freedom. I wanted to be free. I just wanted to create, be able to go and be with family or be with people I love more and not have an obligation to clock in. And that stuck with me. I think that's what most of us want. Maybe you don't really want that car. Maybe you don't even care about it, but you want that car because you think that equals a certain type of status. But in reality, that's not the most important thing. I look back a lot at the last moments of my mom's life. I have this memory of her looking in her closet and of her telling me it was full of clothes and shoes, and she just looked at me and she was like, some of those things I never even wore. And there they are, on her deathbed. We place so much importance on things rather than experiences, rather on things that will truly, in our lifetime, bring us fulfillment. We numb ourselves with pleasures, with things or people that aren't not good for us. But yet we stay in those places because they bring us comfort, because those are things we know. We don't know nothing else. That's why you have to take a step back and go find what is right for you. Not find it, and the only way to find it is to become who you need to be in this lifetime. We have all this information at the tip of our fingertips. Sometimes you gotta take it a step at a time. Down your notebook, what I don't want to be and what I want to become. Maybe I don't want to spend all of my paycheck on something. Maybe I want to have money left over. Maybe this is the way I would be if I were this type of person. But write it down. All of the expenses. Maybe you have to pay off your student loan debt. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Get clear of where you want to go in this life. If not, they're going to tell you where to go in this life. And sometimes you're gonna have to grind through it. You're gonna have to give up certain fun opportunities to work, but in the long run it will be better for you. Sometimes you have to keep your head down and focus, so later on in life you can walk freely and do what you want to do and do what you're meant to do. It won't always be pretty on the outside. You know, to other people it may look like, dang, she's, you know, he or she is struggling, you know. You see what's going on with her? Doesn't matter, because you know deep down, you know where you're going and you know you're working on it. So cut all of that out. But I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I just have been thinking more about that recently, and I think now that my frontal lobe is developed, I've been thinking again more about that. And trust me, sometimes things in your life are gonna happen. You're gonna go through very hard things in your life, and your mental health is gonna start to get bad. And it's okay to feel the way you feel. I want you to know that. But that doesn't mean that you need to give up on yourself. No, never ever give up on yourself. You got this. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in my next video.